Blame Truth here, and I'm not a happy man. I am not a happy man today, so I'm going to go ahead and give you a volume warning. If you're watching this in public or you got your AirPods in or whatever, you may want to just turn the volume down a little bit, or maybe you're a masochist, in which case turn the volume up and let me scream in your ear. I don't really care what you do. I just want you to look. I want you to look here, listen, all right? My God, man. I got a lot I want to get off my chest, all right? I have a direct comparison, not only with XDefiant, which I have 200 hours played on now, more playtime than the last 5 Call of Duty multiplayers combined, literally combined. Not only that, but I have a direct comparison in this gameplay alone. Okay? Because everything they say in this particular white paper, this particular explanation blog, is complete bullshit, and it's proven wrong just in this gameplay. And guess what? I have hundreds, if not thousands, of gameplays over the year, or years, I should say, proving this statistic wrong. Yes, thousands of matches proving what they're saying is a lie, or at least it's not the whole truth. Now, here's the thing, man. I've always said this, and I've said this since the dawn of time. If you want to retain players, if you want a game to really take off and do work and do numbers, the first step is to make a good game. The second step is to make rewarding, unique ways of progressing. The third step, if you want to make money, is make good items in the store. Good microtransactions. Now, on free-to-play games, that last one's very important. XDefiant, Fortnite, yada yada. XDefiant's actually gotten some flack for releasing not so great cosmetics in the store, yet Ubisoft reported that XDefiant's exceeding expectations. They're making great money daily. I think people, more so than wanting to purchase a cool skin, are just wanting to support the game. I know I am. Now, I will say this, their skins are gradually improving, their cosmetics are gradually improving, and I'm spending more money than ever. I bought the new Wraith bundle, which looks pretty sweet, which I'll post a gameplay of that probably after this. But, yeah, man, like I'm just saying right now, all this stuff, all three of those things are very important, but the number one thing is make a good game. We don't need this psyop experiment bullshit matchmaking. We don't need you to gaslight people. We don't need you to lie to bad players, because that is what they have been doing for the better part of 5 years. This is the first time they've even spoken on it, and I'm just gonna get right on into it. This is gonna be a longer video. I'm gonna section it off. Do not complain to me about being a chatty Cathy and say like, oh, BT, tone it down a little bit. I don't want to see a 20-minute video. Too fucking bad, man. Quit scrolling TikTok and killing your attention span. Grow some balls and sit down, shut up, and listen to what I have to say, because it might save you some money down the line, or at least a few brain cells, and God knows you probably need all you can get if you're complaining about the length of a video with fucking chapters sectioning things off. But I fucking digress. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, because I got a lot I want to say. So, the new matchmaking blog. Here we go. We're going to check out Charlie Intel's just write-up of this. And I'll leave the link to this in the video description. I'll also leave the link to the official blog. But this is a little less, I guess, convoluted than the official blog. So we're just going to read the summarization here. Activision have released a detailed paper explaining how Call of Duty's controversial skill-based matchmaking system works. This blog is the first major update on the system since their first statement back in November, promising more transparency. Literally after we forced their hand, by the way. We had to overtake a Reddit AMA for them to do anything. Also, Bobby Kotick had to fuck off, so that's another factor. But anyway, the company said that team balancing is a factor in allowing Call of Duty to form games where players can have fun and enjoy competitive matches. Team balancing has never been the issue. Team balancing has been there since Call of Duty 4, maybe even before that. That's when I first started playing multiplayer, though. It's there in XDefiant. It is a necessary evil. It just takes whoever's in the lobby and then balances the teams accordingly. That is totally fine. That is fine. That is not my issue with Call of Duty, so I don't even know why that's brought up. Skill-based matchmaking, however, has been in Call of Duty since 2007 Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. That is complete fucking bullshit and a lie, and the system was updated with more capabilities starting with 2019's Modern Warfare. You might be saying, like, oh, it's not a lie. No. There's no way. That had skill-based matchmaking too. Yeah, tell me about all the skill-based matchmaking I experienced playing Call of Duty 4 and World at War on server browsers. Please, tell me about my skill-based matchmaking experience when I could pick the server. There was no skill-based matchmaking in Call of Duty 4 and World at War. Was there skill-based matchmaking in other Call of Duties? I'll tell you what, if there was up until Black Ops 2, I couldn't tell. So it was a moot point. It was not there. Like, straight up. I would argue that even in Black Ops 2, it was so minuscule. I think it was a figment of people's imagination. And I know that because I think I performed better than I ever did on Black Ops 2. I actually found gameplays just recently. Hundreds of Black Ops 2 scores on an old laptop. I mean, dude. Like, I'll post them and show you. I'll post this legacy gameplay from 2012 and 2013 and show you. But anyway, that's a lie. Straight up, out the gate, that is a lie. There was no skill-based matchmaking in COD 4. I'm sorry. I played that game probably more than people have played the last 5 Call of Duties combined. No, there's no skill-based matchmaking. It wouldn't make sense on the PC platform, especially. It's already, we're off to a bad start because you are lying to us. The blog's FAQ revealed that Activision explored adding a playlist where skill factor is removed from matchmaking, but their current concern is that it would lead to only high-skilled players being in the matchmaking pool as low and mid-skilled players would not join. Oh, no shit! Activision noted that both unranked and ranked playlists have a skill factor in matchmaking because new players may not participate in ranked. Oh no. Think of the children. It's important they can contribute meaningfully to their team and their own personal in-game achievements, they said. How about you watch a few videos of people giving you tips and tricks, exclusive ace, watch a pro player, see what they do, maybe try to improve and stop wanting this suit and tie billion-dollar corporation to hold your hand the entirety of your 3 months playing this tripe every single year. How about that? How about that? How about you try? The Call of Duty team looks at calculating skill and MP based exclusively on match performance, and player progression or total time spent playing the game are not factored into skill. The skill factor rating of each player changes over time, and the skill rating is compared to every player in a match. Activision keeps skill factor in matchmaking despite the negative feedback because when skill is utilized in matchmaking, 80 to 90% of players experience better end-of-match placement, stick with the game longer, and quit matches less frequently. Oh, but the data. Oh, the data. Oh. Never mind everyone saying that they don't like it, even bad players. But, oh, the data shows that 80% of players went 12 and 12 instead of 8 and 12. Ooh, buy the anime bundle. Fuck off. Stop insulting my intelligence. Stop. Quit. Just shut up. I would rather them just not talk about this at this point. This disgusts me. This honestly disgusts me. You're literally gaslighting players. They're saying right here that 80 to 90% of players experience better end-of-match placement. That has nothing to do with their skill. Everything to do with the fact that the matchmaking does this for them. In casual, no less. What are you protecting these people from? There's nothing to work towards in casual. A few gun camos maybe, but like who cares, dude? Make a good game first and foremost, people will play. And I'm sorry, but I just want to say this. The top 10 to 20% of players in Call of Duty, that is nowhere near the majority. I mean, that has to be such a small portion of the actual player base that it's a minuscule point. You'll run into these people maybe once a day if you play several hours a day. I play XDefiant several hours a day. I run into good competition, actual good competition, maybe once or twice in a gaming session. That is it. And that has no skill-based matchmaking at all. This thing they're trying to protect players from was not an issue. It was not an issue for literally decades. Over a decade. What was an issue was their crappy games selling less and less year after year after putting in loot boxes and shit. That's what was the actual issue. Tell me when I'm telling lies. Tell me, viewer, when I am telling you, the viewer, a lie. Because I am not. You know that is true. Look at this. from Drifter real quick and tell me that noobs were scared to play Black Ops 2 with its little to no SBMM. I'd say it has like basically none, essentially. Like, dude, this was after Ghost came out. Like, this was after the next Call of Duty came out. And this is only one platform. This is one platform. Now, maybe people were practicing for Black Ops 3, but still, the point remains. Black Ops 2 retained players years after the fact without any meaningful content updates. People loved Black Ops 2 because it was a good game. It was what the community wanted overall. You can't please everyone, of course, but this is what people wanted out of Call of Duty. What Call of Duty wanted was to nickel and dime their player base to death by releasing yearly releases, and then eventually they got that yearly release Madden or NBA 2K or WWE 2K quality, which is garbage. Garbage. The paper explains that while the top 10 to 20% may experience some negative effects, yeah, that's putting it lightly. Completely removing skill from the system will result in two issues. Low and mid-skilled players would quit faster, leading to a matchmaking pool mainly composed of higher skilled players. This would result in consistently more competitive matches for all players instead of a better team balance. I will tell you right now, after 2 months of playing XDefiant, I have consistently improved, and that is simply not true. That is not true in the slightest. And the gameplay, when we switch back to it, will show you that everything they said right here, it's not true. It's simply not true, at least not all the time. You cannot say this blanket statement and say bad players always quit when you dump on them. No, it's not true. The white paper revealed that Activision had run tests in Modern Warfare 3's multiplayer, also we're guinea pigs now, where skill factor was reduced in matchmaking for a portion of the player base. According to the paper, 50% of North American MW3 players were part of the multiplayer test that reduced skill factor earlier this year. The test showed, the data showed that players with a wider skill gap were more likely to quit matches in progress and did not return to the game at a higher rate than players with unchanged matchmaking, said Activision. The paper reveals that player retention amongst those in lower and mid-skilled brackets reduced by over 1% point. Oh my God. With deprioritized skill, returning player rate was down significantly for 90% of players. I want to show you guys something really quick here. So what you're looking at is the Call of Duty Steam player base numbers. Let's take a look at the average players here, and let's just see what happened after Modern Warfare 2022 released compared to now. MW 2022, this super hyped game, one of the best-selling Call of Duty games, if not the best-selling Call of Duty game of all time, and Warzone 2 both dropped to critical disdain, okay? So the average players fell consistently for months, all the way up until September. This is with their system in play, by the way, that's supposed to retain players. Clearly the system does not work, or you're lying to us, or both. To be honest, I would say it's both. The system, I've said this before, when Modern Warfare 3 came out here, there's less of a bump initially, but they have technically retained more players over time, barely. Now, this is with MW2, MW3, and Warzone 2, or Warzone, whatever it is now, Warzone 1, all in one client, so it's still kind of muddied. They hide everything. They never give you the actual numbers to look at. They just say something and gaslight you and lie to you. So, again, don't trust this white paper, don't trust this write-up. It's simply a lie, and I think I've proven that at this point just by showing you examples from Call of Duty 4 World at War and their server browsers and stuff. Skill-based matchmaking was in that game, hilarious. But anyway, as you can see, the player numbers drop as the year progresses, no matter what. They drop for every game, no matter what. That 90% of bad players won't come back metric, why did that not happen? Why did that not happen in Black Ops 2? Can someone please explain to me? At Activision, Blizzard, Sledgehammer, Infinity Turd, Treyarch, whatever. Can someone explain to me why that just was not a factor for years, for decades? Why all of a sudden do we need this system? Because the system is not doing what it's saying it's doing. The system is not there to retain players. The system is there to gaslight bad players into thinking they are way better than they actually are, so they spend money in the store. That is all it's there before. It is a manipulation tactic. It has nothing to do with player retention. So this gameplay on XDefiant has come to a close. No skill-based matchmaking in this game, okay? Look at Aquavibes, Casual Warrior, and Spider-Mat, and tell me that bad players are going to quit out if they're getting dumped on. These guys are probably, I don't know, browsing cute cat videos on Instagram Shorts. They don't care, man. They're probably rolling a blunt, listening to Lil Yachty with the percussion of a low battery smoke detector beeping in the background. They don't care, man. They're just playing the game and vibing. It does not matter. Let's finish up this stupid white paper blog thing, though. And the paper states that although higher skill player retention may have increased during this test, the lower and mid skill players drop off over time. The higher skill player base takes over matchmaking. The company claims that we would expect to see the player population erode rapidly in the span of a few months, resulting in a negative outcome for all of our players. They also conducted a test where skill was tightened in matchmaking. Oh my god. For a portion of the player base, and the inverse effect happened. Higher skill players quit matches more often, and many of those players did not return to the game. Wow, you don't say. In this paper, Activision explained that reducing skill factor would represent a marginal performance increase for the highly skilled players, but would only be a short-term gain. The highest skilled players are likely to get more matches where they could blow out the competition in the short term, but when this occurs, the competition tends to play less, and the result is that the player pool shrinks overall. And the company claimed that when low and mid-skill players exit the core multiplayer pool, high-skill players are more likely to encounter other high-skill players in matchmaking by default. Okay, that's fine. I'm fine with that trade-off. The white paper also revealed that ping remains even across the different skill pools in matchmaking. That's not true! That's not true! Reiterating several times that ping remains the most important factor in Call of Duty's matchmaking process. We've literally proven that wrong. Drifter and Exclusive Ace have proven that wrong. Look up the videos. There may be slight deviations in ping and skill groups based on the availability of players during a certain matchmaking time. But isn't this what your skill-based matchmaking system is supposed to fix? This is all a load of horse manure, okay? Activision said a healthy player population is good for everyone in the community and promised to release another white paper on how skill factors into Rank Play's matchmaking system later this summer. Oh my god. Oh my god. Do you want to know how I know this is complete and utter tripe and a lie across the board? Because I have played Call of Duty for the better part of 18 years, and up until Modern Warfare 2019, there was never a drop-off in player counts unless the quality of the game itself sucked. I ran into noobs all year, every year. I have, again, a hard drive of Black Ops 2 gameplay, and I think Modern Warfare 3 gameplay as well, to prove it. I dropped over 50 MOABs back in Modern Warfare 3. Do you know how many people left the game? You know, during that, while I'm getting that. They left after I called the MOAB in, yeah, but most people didn't. Like, let's show off this comment in this commentary here, okay? This is my favorite comment I think I've ever read on the channel from CartGuy76. He says, "Chaps, I'm really enjoying this XDefiant. Never really understood how bad SBMM actually was. I'm 48 years old, married, kid, full-time job, studying post-grad part-time." This man's busy. "Compete in age group triathlon and cycling." Really busy. "Oh yeah, and I'm pretty shit at FPS anyways. So gaming is low on the priority list. Activision think SBMM is made for guys like me. But they're wrong. I genuinely couldn't give a shit about my KD. Played this evening, one game I went 4-16. 2 games later, I was slamming kids and went 38-22. What keeps me playing is the fact that I don't know what the next game is going to be like. That's what keeps me playing as well. I love that randomness of just, I can match with anyone. It's intoxicating. Am I the hammer or am I going to be the nail? With COD, every game is the exact same thing. I end up with a 1 KD despite the fact that I know I'm generally crap at FPS and should legit be a 0.6 to 0.7 KD. When I started with XDefiant, I had a 0.2 KD. I upgraded from my 8-year-old Dell Office mouse to a new GPX SL2. I improved. Then I replaced my old GTX 1650 GPU with a new 7900 XTX and went from 28 FPS to over 200 FPS. Once again, I improved. I've been spending time on Kovacs aim training. My aim is getting better, so once more, I'm improving. I'm watching videos for tips and tricks on getting better. I'm watching streamers like Apathy play ranked XDefiant and seeing how good players play. All the time, I'm improving. So yeah, they make SBMM for Timmy No Thumbs. Dad's in front of the 60-inch TV, like me. I've got a 240 Hz 1440p monitor, by the way. That's better than my setup. No TV gaming here. But newsflash, Activision, even low-skill old guys don't want that skill-based matchmaking trash. Guys, that's all I have to say, and I completely agree. I'll leave you with that to end this video. If you guys can, please like this. Very important you like this video especially. I want people to know all about this farce they gave us today. I will catch you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Peace out.
Here's some parting advice.